Hello everyone, this is Noel from the Kagrazans, and today I have another LEGO Star Wars Episode 7 set review. As you can see, it is the slave one. Of course, I'm only joking, it's the Millennium Falcon, and you can tell it's new with its new radar dish. Now, I'm only joking, there's a lot of different features to the original Millennium Falcons and stuff, which I will get onto in the actual review. But first things first, let's look at the key details of this set. Right, so now it's time to move on to the box. And this box is huge, as you would have seen with the actual set width and length and all that. You can tell that the box is going to be pretty big as well. So let's just move these minifigures out the way for right now, and then we will get onto the box. The instruction manual itself actually is pretty huge, and it's really thick as well, if you can see that. It's one of those ones that you could probably take to your bed and read even though there's no words in it, so that was a poor little reference there. But the box, nonetheless, let's actually get onto something for this review. There's absolutely no way I would be able to review the box as my camera was sitting or standing, or whatever you want to call it. So I have to hold the camera, which means there'll be a lot of shaky cam, just like a Michael Bay film. And here's the box. I'll only show you the front and the back because we want to get onto the review. We don't want to bother about all the little details and stuff like that. So it's ages 9 to 14, slightly better than Race Speeder I reviewed last week. We have the set number 75105, and it's of course called the Millennium Falcon. And as you can see, it looks pretty badass. The box art there. Looking at the minifigures, you get 7 if you do want to include the droid as a minifigure, which I do. And yep, they're all pretty good figures, which of course I'll get onto after I show you the box. Now, prepare for shaky cam right here as I turn the box around, and you'll be able to see all the features before I go into them in a little bit more detail. So as you can see, the Millennium Falcon opens up just like the previous Millennium Falcons, and you've got a lot of play features inside. And there's just some more box art there, and just some of the stuff that it does. So let's get on to the minifigures without any further ado. Wow, the box is suddenly more close to us. I just did that so the camera could actually focus on the figures, because trust me, in real life they're not that blurry. So here we have the first minifigure here, which is the Kanji Club gang member. And try saying that 10 times fast. I definitely won't, because I would fail. How do they come up with these Star Wars names? Do they just put random consonants together and just hope for the best? And they must do. But here we are. We have this gang member, and he definitely is one of the bad guys, because as you can see on the box, he's a gang member, and he's shooting at the Millennium Falcon with his friend there. They're definitely not trying to stop it to give him free postcards or anything like that. So, bad guy here, and he is a lovely figure. Look at that lovely detail. He does have back printing as well. And I'm assuming he's wearing a turban, because they are in the desert. They're in Jakku here, and I doubt he's going to be having a haircut that's the most bowl cut ever. So that's probably a turban or helmet or something like that. And as you can see with that off, he has an eye patch on, so he's probably a pirate as well. And he has some facial hair as well. And yep, he's a nice little figure. So moving on to his friend here, we have Tasu Leech, who doesn't come with a rifle, he just comes with a pistol. I believe that's Qui-Gon Jinn's hair, just painted black, because it looks very Qui-Gon Jinn-esque. So I'm going to go with that. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. He has a printed torso, and it's double printed, which is always good. I'll take off his hair so you can see him a little bit better. And as you can see, one of quite a few figures in the set actually to have a printed double-sided print on their head as well. So I'll show you what he looks like from behind with his hair and with his head like that. So it's really good to have double-sided printing on both their bodies and their head. It lets you give them more expressions and stuff like that. So the next character, we're on to the heroes, and here we have a very old-looking Han Solo. And let's be honest, in the film he does look about 90. In real life he's about 90, so yep, he is looking pretty old. He's got his grey hair there. I've given him his sort of smirky face. He's got his normal gear. He's got a little pistol as well. On the back there is printing, but it's not substantial, it's not too hefty. Looking at his back face there, it's looking slightly more worried than his other face, so you can just mix it up, which is what I like. Here we have Chewbacca, and I believe this is a new Chewbacca because he's looking a bit more rugged than other Chewbaccas, and there's nothing really you could go wrong with this figure. As you can see, that is just a headpiece under it. It's just a brown body, and yep, it's pretty nicely detailed there. Looking at his crossbow, it's one of those push fire missiles, and if you press it, it will take out someone's eye. So yep, definitely pretty good. If you haven't seen my other review, you just press it, and that's probably gone and lost forever. Thank you, Noel, for firing that on camera. No problem, guys. Here we go with Finn here. So, one of the newer characters as well. And he is a pretty nice figure. And he's got back printing. He's got funky hair. That's his first expression. And he has a second expression where he's looking slightly more mad. And by slightly, I mean definitely more mad there. Moving on to Rey. Here she is. Very similar to the Rey figure in the Rey Speeder. Probably the exact same, I never checked. Well done, Noel, brilliant. She has a silver blaster, and her hairpiece is very nice, but I will put it on her face like that, because A, it looks funny, and B, she has another expression. There you go. So there's her hairpiece. Again, it's pretty nice. And now, this is probably my favourite figure in the set, and it's the smallest, but it is amazing. Here we have the BB-8 droid, and it just looks so cool. It is basically a soccer ball with deformation, but it is awesome. I didn't personally think you could get cuter than R2-D2, but apparently it can be done. The only thing that would ruin BB-8 is if he turned evil and like brutally murdered Han Solo. But the likelihood of that happening in Episode 7 is fairly unlikely. But maybe I've jinxed it. Maybe he will turn to the dark side. Imagine how would this? Imagine him on the dark side. Has like a three-bladed lightsaber and stuff. That wouldn't really work. Okay, so moving on to the actual set. And are you ready for this funky transition? I'm not, because I'm not about to do one. So moving on to the actual Falcon itself, and we'll look at all the top of it and some of the bottom before we go on to the inside, and I'll look at some of the play features and stuff like that. First things first, there's a lot of stickers in this set. There's only about 2 printed pieces, which is not that great. Or maybe 3 if you count that. Thank God that's a printed piece of cockpit there, otherwise I'd probably cry. There's also a front bit there. But looking at the stickers, as you can see, there's one there, there's 2 there, there's one on the other side, and there are 6 on the back, and there's one there. So a lot of stickers, and stickers are obviously quite annoying. You have to just try and not make mistakes, and it can get quite messy and stuff like that. There's also a sticker there. So, looking at the first play feature here, you have the new sensor dish, and that spins 360 degrees, and you can also move it side to side. You can make it go up, you can make it go down. You can just have a lot of fun with it. It just depends what you want to do with it, I suppose. The other play feature on the top here is the 360 rotating up and down moving gun here. So that's another nice play feature. There's also a gun directly beneath it, if I can lift this without dropping it. There you see there is a gun on the bottom, and that moves 360 degrees, also moves up and down. And you can see the landing gear as well. And the way I usually pick up this set, if I want to fly about, act like a 9 to 14-year-old, if you like, I just pick it up at the sides, and it is a really durable set. Now, I have not tried throwing it out of my window yet to see how many pieces break off it. So when I do that, I will let you know. Definitely wouldn't try that. That would probably end very badly for all parties involved there. But it does seem like quite a durable set, which is always good. And when you pick it up, stuff's not going to break off or something like that. So there's not like a handle in the middle, but it's still, easy enough to pick up and manoeuvre it about. looking at another play feature here, as you can see, there's 2 holes. Well, there's 4 holes, but there's these 2 holes at the front flyer push down missiles. And these are very powerful missiles. So if you push it down, they go flying, they will take out someone's eye, they will probably kill someone, and it won't be that great for everyone involved. But if you push it down, it fires, and it's a really nice system. You don't have to go in there and push them out and have them just go about 0 centimetres in front of you, and you can just push them in by simply putting them in there and then just applying a little bit of force, and that's them ready to be used again. You do get another spare piece missile in case you lose one, or in case you want to fastly reload one or something like that. So it's a really nice system they've got there, and it works very well. There's a lot of detail on the top here. They've tried to make it look as Millennium Falcon as a word, and that's obviously going to be added to the dictionary next year. You can see there's a lot of details. They've tried to make it look a bit sort of space hardened, space worn, whatever you want to call it, and it makes it look less bland as well, having all these little details on the top and stuff like that. I will be doing a better overview shot, and you'll see some pictures later, so you can get a better sort of view of what everything looks like. Moving on to the cockpit, which is probably the last feature I will show you before we actually look at the insides. If I take it off, it just simply pops off. There's when I first seen it, I thought that like half the ship would collapse if I take this off, but it just simply pops off like that. And there's room to fit 2 minifigures. One has to sit on lay 2 studs, whilst the other sits on lay 2 studs. Otherwise, they're not going to fit in. And I tried putting Chewbacca in here, and he didn't fit with the cockpit actually going on. I think his headpiece is just too large, which is realistic to the actual Falcon made for the original trilogy. If you know that fun fact, Chewbacca could not actually fit in the cockpit, and his scenes had to be filmed afterwards. But aside from facts that are probably useless, you have a sticker in here, which is a little control piece. I'll get that closer for you. You can see there's a little control panel, and there's also a little gear stick. Of course, you can't actually go into the back there because there's no like hole to connect it. That's one problem I have with it. I wish you could actually walk from in there to the cockpit. It would have been nice. It would have also been fairly difficult for them to do as well. That's more stickers right there. So as you can see, there's a lot of stickers, which kind of sucks, but it is still very nice, a very nice set, and there's just a lot of detail. I just accidentally fired a missile. There goes a part of my wall. If it fired, it probably has started to destroy the structure of my room. They are pretty perfect. Obviously, I'm exaggerating a bit, but that's what the missiles do look like. If you're interested in that, they are rounded at the end, so if you fire at someone's eye, it will only take it out, it won't puncture it, which is always good. So the next cool play feature here is that this opens, and you might be thinking that's not very cool, but these guys can slide out if you just pull that out, and I'll show you what the space looks like down there. So it's just a space enough for 2 people to sit there, and it easily slides in and out. There's no worries about it fallen or anything like that. I would help actually started showing you what I was doing there. And what that is that allows them to control this and the bottle gun you've seen earlier as well. So it's authentic to the original movies, and probably some action we'll see in episode 7. So it allows you to just make it, oh, I've broke that off, well done. It allows you to make it more believable that there's people actually controlling the guns, and it's a really nice feature as well. So I better do some DIY here, and then I'll open the insides. The insides are really easy to open. You just have all these flaps here, and you can lift them. You can lift them fairly back as well. You know, it just depends how big your hands are to get in and reach all the stuff, I suppose. But every segment opens, apart from this bit here, which is the bit that links to the cockpit. So you can't move that. And of course you can't move the side bits here. But every other place opens, and you have a lot of access to get to what's inside. And this bit at the front here just opens like that, and that allows you to open the other 2 bits. So inside we have a lot of stuff here. We even have the Dejeric table. I hope I said that right. I can never pronounce that right. In there, and you can have 2 characters, as you can see, sitting down and just playing some Dejeric, I suppose. And there is a ton of space in here, and hopefully I can cover it all. And I'm sorry again for all the shaky camera. This is like one of the harder sets to review because there's just so much stuff you can look at. This was a pretty piece, which is good. This was also a pretty piece, but that was a sticker, and there's quite a few other stickers in here, layer stickers, for instance. So you've got that, you've got another sticker in there, but this is a little command station. You could have someone sitting there just controlling some stuff. You will notice it looks quite sort of cluttered in here, and that's just what they did to make it look more like the spaceship, I suppose. And then there you've got the engines at the back, another sticker there. You've got some storage there. You could put some stuff if you want. Some stuff. How generic was that? You can put it in there, and you've got just some more sort of clutter, I'll call it, just to make it look more like the spaceship it is. And you've got some details on the wall, stuff like that. You've got a little wrench there that Chewbacca could go about pretending he's fixing stuff. You have beds here, so people can go and rest or get some medical assistance, whatever you're into. And that's pretty much the inside. So the only thing left to show you is that this opens up here, and it's really hard for me to get my finger in here because I am definitely not a 9 to 14-year-old. But in there you can just store some stuff as well, or you could have the characters hide, just like we've seen in the original trilogy when the stormtrooper search the Millennium Falcon and they can't find anyone because they're all hiding under the ship in those sort of containers. And I'll spin the ship around for you in the next shot because I only have two hands, I'm not an octopus. So as you can hopefully see, here is the entrance ramp, and all you do is you just push it, and that allows you to, hopefully you can see that under there, the entrance ramp pops out. You probably can't because it's quite awful camera work here, but the entrance ramp just allows you to have the illusion of the characters can come up here and just kick about in the ship, and that simply just clicks into place because it's studs that are locking into each other. It's not like it's a latch system or anything like that, so it's quite secure when you're flying it about. It's not going to come loose, and because it's studs you just pop it, you just put a little bit of pressure and pop it open. There's one thing I did show you as well, is there's this little box that opens at the back there. So that's pretty much it. I will show you some pictures because there's just a lot to take in this set, and it's really hard to do it justice in a review because you're not going to cover everything, especially with all this shaky cam. But there is a lot of stuff to look at, and there's a fair bit of details and play features and stuff like that. It's a really nice set. It was £120 for me, so I would recommend that if you are part of the younger audience, 9 to 14, and you don't have a stable job or something like that, get this for Christmas. I don't want you having to sell crack rocks or anything like that to buy this set, but it is worthwhile getting. It is a really nice Millennium Falcon. I personally haven't had any of the previous Millennium Falcons, so I couldn't tell you if this is better, although I have seen reviews on the previous ones and stuff. I couldn't personally tell you if it's better, but it's definitely worth picking up, and it looks authentic to what we've seen in the films, well, the trailers and stuff for the film so far. So there you go guys, the Millennium Falcon set 75105 has been reviewed, and it is a pretty awesome set. I think you should definitely pick it up if you do have the money. I don't want you going into debt or anything like that, or pick it up at Christmas, however you want to go about it. It is a pretty solid set. One problem I do have with Star Wars space sets is, I know it's pretty hard to cover up, but there's always little gaps in the sets, and just for me, I'm just like realism and stuff like that. And I know Star Wars is not very real, but it just annoys me how like it's not covered up, so whilst you're flying it about in space, they're all going to die because they're not got oxygen. There's holes in the ship essentially, but that's just a minor thing with me. There's not too many negatives with this set actually. It's all pretty positive, which makes it a really good set. So hopefully you have enjoyed this set review. It was kind of hard to review because, you know, you have to pick up a lot, and I don't have a proper tripod or a proper camera or anything like that, so it was quite hard to, I had to get quite hands-on with it and do a lot of shaky cam and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I hope you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully you're wanting to see more LEGO Star Wars Episode 7 set reviews. I do have another set I could review next week if you do want me to do that. And until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.